So, this film caused some disquiet in the normally harmonious Miles household, as my beloved wife might have gone to the cinema under the belief that she was going to see Judy as opposed to a Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon, which is up there with last year's cinematic turkey, The Girl in the Spider's Web, A New Dragon Tattoo Story for worst title of the year. But, as I stated in my defence on the train home, I need to be neutral in my reviews, and I'm not sure if I can be neutral when it's an Aardman film. Some of my first cinematic memories are of watching old Wallace and Gromit shorts with my grandparents with a cup of lemonade. When I worked in the cinema, I basically learnt the script for Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, and the previous film in this franchise, Shaun the Sheep movie, no theirs, just Shaun the Sheep movie, which would have earned a C from my old English teacher, is, I would argue, the perfect way to introduce your little bundle of genetically compatible organs to the wonder of the silver screen. Oh, did I also mention that it's stop motion? Lovely, wonderful, handmade stop motion. Plasticine, making 3 seconds a day if you're lucky stop motion. I mean, it's true that Aardman doesn't quite have the epic scale of Leica's mind-blowing Kubo and the Two Strings, but A, they win awards, and B, they actually turn a profit and don't keep making some of the biggest bombs in cinematic history, but there's also a charm and a likability to them. They're also British to their core, which means that their human references are all pretty much guaranteed to get me laughing, and laugh I did, sometimes out loud and sometimes with a quiet little chuckle, which went down well in my ankle-biter-infested screening, I can tell you. The plot's not the most complicated thing in the world. Imagine E.T. on a farm and you're pretty much there, but it works. I laughed and enjoyed it, and if there was a joke that I wasn't particularly fond of, then there was another one along in roughly 5 seconds that I would. The characters were bursting with personality, and I genuinely cared about them, even though none of them say a single word. Well, I say a single word. They all speak in mumbles and grumbles as though someone has put a sock over the recording microphone, but again, it works. It helps that pretty much everyone's motivations are simple. The farmer wants to make money, the alien wants to go home, the inevitable government agency just wants to keep hold of a UFO for once, and Shaun just wants to have fun before he gets turned into a Sunday roast and serve up with roast potatoes and a nice mint sauce. Normally at this point I would say that this film isn't perfect, however, and roll off a list of complaints, but I don't really have any. Firstly, because it's illegal under UK law to criticise Aardman, because it's like criticising Sir David Attenborough, and also when you get found guilty of criticising Aardman, I, by which I of course mean my script guy, would have to spend 20 years defending Piers Morgan on Twitter. I do, however, have some suggestions. Firstly, the alien doesn't look very alien. I mean, I wasn't expecting a xenomorph, but something that doesn't look like a rabbit that got covered in blue paint should not have been beyond the realms of human imagination. Also, Shaun's mouth annoyed me. It came out of either side of his face whenever he was required to make a noise, and it just bugged me for some reason. Also, one minor nitpick. You have a film about aliens in the Wallaceverse and you don't reference that thing on the moon from Wallace and Gromit: A Grand Day Out? I mean, talk about an open goal. Aside from that, I'm good. I love stop motion, I love Aardman, I laughed out loud at the funny film, the children around me seemed amused, my wife was amused, although still unimpressed, I was affected by the sad moments, and I was glad to see an amazing film like this in cinemas. Don't be surprised when this shows up in my top 10 in a few weeks' time. So drop everything and see it now. But what did you guys think, and what is your favourite stop motion film of all time? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, it's been a dunking. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.